Well, shit's about to hit the fan because not only is the Devil's Forge reanimating everybody and bringing them back to life to potentially be a potential like threat to everyone else, but it would seem that Dracula is completely content on just wiping out all of humanity. I mean, sounds logical.
Yeah,
I mean, Morgan Freeman would love the plan. He's just like humanity is a parasite on this planet. It's like, Morgan, I want you to just go back to like voicing over penguin documentaries and shit like that. I don't like hearing you say humanity is nothing but a bunch of parasites and we are a virus.
I don't like hearing him say penguin, but we had to listen to that too.
Oh yeah, March of the Penguins?
Yeah.
That was him. He did that. Actually, he remembers when that got animated for like best documentary, and he was just like, I never in a million years thought that actually would be a thing. But here we are. We're in an age where penguins are more popular than people. And it's like, well,
for good reason. They're cute.
Well, they are. They can be little assholes sometimes, but you know what? We all have that rambunctious phase.
Can they?
Yes. Dude, the amount of times that penguins have just outright, like, pecked people's legs for no other reason than the fact that they just want them to chase them.
I think my dream, like, before I die, one of the things I want to do is just hold a baby penguin like this.
Yeah.
And not shake it, but just kind of bounce it.
Hey.
And then, just like a minute.
Well, I'd love to just, like hold a baby penguin close, when they're still fluffy. Before they're
little gray fluffy ones.
Yeah, before they get all black and slick, their feathers like pop down and they become slick. Yeah, before they turn into tuxedos.
Before they turn into assholes, apparently.
Well, some of them are assholes. I'm not gonna lie, but for the most part, most of them mind their own business. Well, again, Quinn, every species has their assholes. That's just like gorillas. Most gorillas, they just like hanging out in trees. Just beating their chests, pretending they're Elvis Presley. And then there's a few lowland silverbacks.
And then there's the Karen at Best Buy for the humans.
Well, yeah. Karens at Best Buys. I hate to use this term because one of my best friends is named Chad. The Chads who love to, and I quote, crush that puss. Kyles who, are know-it-alls at the gym that try and teach you how to get maximum gains, bro.
Monster today.
Yeah, drunk 4 monsters.
Kyles take care of themselves.
Yeah, they do. They do. They die of heart attacks when they're 35. And then of course there's the Susans who just think that they know what's best for everybody, and in spite of all the evidence to the contrary, they put on the blindfold and say, no, I know what's best. I know what's best.
If I can't see it, it's not true.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, humanity has their downsides. So does every species on this planet.
Bees.
Actually, most of the bees just want to make honey and help their queen survive. Hornets and wasps are assholes.
I understand the difference between a bee and a wasp, but I'm just saying, you don't have to chase me, man.
Well, they're just trying to protect what's theirs. They don't deliberately seek you out. They don't deliberately seek out to do harm, whereas hornets and wasps, they do.
Apparently, Kenzie had to kill a spider. They don't normally kill bugs. They're one of those people that just doesn't kill bugs. But apparently when they came in from work the other day, there was a spider bigger than my hand.
That's fair.
And they killed it, and they didn't tell me about it for like a week because they were afraid I would be watching for it.
Well, I've had to kill some spiders in this house. There was one that got really aggressive on me. Like I was watching it here, and then all of a sudden it was just like tick 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 tick, got like about this far away from my foot, and I was just like, don't you! I told you not to do it.
I don't fuck with bugs.
Well, here's the thing: if they stay in the corner and mind their own damn business, I don't mind them. But if they invade my space, I'm gonna fuck them up.
I'm gonna kill a bitch.
I'm gonna smack a bitch, or in this case, stomp a bitch. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we got
like Alucard, and then we're gonna stomp Dracula.
One can hope. But yeah, Alucard, Sifa, and Trevor are now on their way to Dracula to take on Dracula. So let's see what happens.
Is
Here.
there a Castlevania character named Victor?
Victor, I believe there's a Victor Belmont.
Okay.
I believe so. There's all sorts of Belmonts. There's Trevor, Simon, and then of course in the Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow. There's Nathaniel and I forget. There's so many different lead characters. Anyway, let's get to it. I remember Circle of the Moon because when I heard the lead protagonist of that, his name was Nathaniel, and I'm just like, really?
Okay.
That's awesome. And I played it, and it was really good. It's one of the best handheld Castlevania games.
I know how to be nice.
No, you don't.
I do. I'm nice to everybody.
Then why are most of these stories you've told me in the last few days about you arriving somewhere and then getting punched in the face?
Dracula's castle moves. How to describe it? It appears at locations as if by magic.
There has to be some way to trap it. How do we start?
I want to go home.
Have you been drinking again?
I just can't do anything with it. But you two can.
Fortunate indeed, then, that I chose not to kill you and eat you, Belmont.
And that I decided against gutting you, flaying you, and turning you into shoes, a la carte.
Can manage not to kill each other while I'm gone.
Oh, please. We're not children.
Could have fooled her.
He shouldn't die.
Yes, fuck you. I'm trusting you, Belmont. Don't make me regret it.
Everybody regrets it in the end, a la carte.
They're bonding. I can appreciate that.
I told you all that Hector and Isaac would guide our next steps. You will cease this infantile squabbling. I said, cease!
Who dis?
What use could you have possibly had for a mere regional ruler? And yet, my lord, your forces were repelled from a single city-state. Your generals are in disarray. Why was this new wife of yours never turned?
What did you say?
You married? You had a child? Were you simply keeping a human pet? And if
Careful.
so, why is vampire society going to war with the world over it?
And why has Godbrand been in regular communication with you?
I suspect he still wants to sleep with me.
And will you?
My lord, I may. If all the other vampire males in the world drop dead, and half the females, some of the animals.
Very good, Camilla.
She seems very manipulative.
Yeah.
She knows how to manipulate everyone else.
She beat on the door until my father let her in, and then demanded he teach her how to be a doctor.
Wait, Dracula taught a human woman how to be a doctor. What was first? Bloodletting?
God, you still think you're funny. Trees will still grow. Birds will still sing. Animals will still hump away in the undergrowth. The sun will still set. But you will not see it rise. There will only be Dracula and his war council and the hordes of the night. He writes in great books, you know.
Did you hear that?
Animals humming in the undergrowth. Wait, no.
Which is the nearest town? Is it still Graydon?
Hargesh is closer to us.
Well, he did say no further. They're just not listening. I remember that was a boss in the Symphony of the Night. It's like Ornstein and Smo. You fight them both at the same time. Well, Sifa? Uh-oh. Booth, fire back. Spontaneous combustion. That sucks. He's like, oh god, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm going home.
Nobody's going to our guest tonight.
Oh. Is he whipping himself with a cat of nine tails? So that was his point of suffering. He was a slave to the Inquisition.
Please don't be angry with me anymore.
Just tell me, Isaac. It's all right.
Because I love you.
Oh.
Oh, bless your heart. That's why I do this. This is how I love you. This is how I teach you. You stop fucking around. You do as you're told.
Oh! Honestly, that's deserved. Dude's been through hell.
No such thing as love in this world. So horribly injured and so determined to come back to us.
And crapping out a minute before it managed it. Useless fucking thing. Now do your filthy human magic with it.
Alright.
Sure.
Jesus.
You struggled so hard to come back home. So loyal. Perhaps this is all loyalty buys. In a world without love. Pain in the night. I believe him. I want of all things a pure world. A clean world. Where there is only loyalty. And only love.
Every single one of, like, Jacob, or Isaac and Hector are both just absolutely just... They've experienced some of the worst that humanity can give you right there. That's just... I understand why.
Any city built over running water is a place that we, as vampires, should approach carefully.
Well, yeah, all it takes is one blessing, and then you,
I've never heard of that affecting vampires.
I've been told that vampires couldn't cross running water.
I've been on boats. I've had baths.
When?
Baths aren't running water, though, are they?
Of course they are.
How can baths be running water? I must disclose that I revived the creature that returned. The party was attacked on the road. Their assailants are unknown. But our Gesh is close to Greshit. We are quite certain that Alucard sleeps at Greshit. And that there was recently a Belmont there.
A Belmont? I thought they were extinct.
No.
If there is a Belmont left alive, then should we not observe the ancestral Belmont home?
Why?
Perhaps on the general notion that the Belmonts hunted the likes of us for fucking centuries. This is your war council, my lord?
Huh. It would seem that she's trying to manipulate her way up the ladder to be, like, the head of the War Council.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I think she sees the advantage of the humans. I think Hector and Isaac, she sees that they can be manipulated in some way a lot easier because they still have their human tenacities. Whereas if they were immortal undead vampires, they would be their will would be dead to certain things. Now, Hector, I think, sees the opportunity to make the war a little more concentrated, by taking away... It's a lot like in wars, who controls the ports are the ones that control the war. For instance, the main reason why the South lost the Civil War was because of the Union blockade that pretty much cut off all supplies from everywhere else so that the South pretty much starved itself out.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons that conflicts are won in a lot of areas is because if you control the ports, there's no, especially on islands, there's no way that in hell that you can get supplies in without sneaking them aground somewhere else, but then you risk losing them at sea because there's no stable port for you to bring them onto a dock. But again, with here, Hector seems to be wanting to make the war more concentrated, whereas I think Isaac wants to keep it chaotic. He wants to keep it absolutely just in disarray, because I think Hector seems to be more controlled in his aggression towards humanity, and he sees a pathway to eliminating humanity on a more, and I dare say this, humane route. Whereas Isaac just wants all of humanity to just be just completely gone. And I think that's the case. I think that's effectively what we're getting here. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I seeing how both of them came to be the way they are, Isaac has been through a lot. He not only is, what seems to be a former slave to the Inquisition, but also he seems to be also potentially a homosexual.
Maybe.
In which that was very, very highly derided, and just you were more likely to die if you were a homosexual back then, and you'd be better off telling people you're a leper. And that's a friggin' skin-rotting disease that literally kills thousands of people every year. And the thing is, I mean, that's sad. That's sad that he had to go through that. He was brought in by somebody, and he wanted to show them that he loved them by helping them. And then their response being, "You're still stupid enough to believe in love." And I've had my quarrels with people, falling in love with somebody, having my heart broken, falling in love with somebody again, and then just completely getting my heart thrown in a blender and pressed on puree. It's never fun. But to be not only told that you should never know love, never know what it's like to feel complete, as it was said in Good Will Hunting, when you're with somebody and you feel completely vulnerable, that's when you know that you've found and you feel completely vulnerable, but yet you feel safe around them. Yeah. That's one way of saying, that's love. And you see, there's the love that people have in mind, the Romeo and Juliet, love at first sight. Oh, love is intoxicating. Love is an instant thing that can be... No, love can develop. I've seen love develop multiple times between people.
I did not immediately love Kenzie.
Exactly. And sometimes it develops, and it's a beautiful thing to see it develop. But again,
I canceled our first date, and after 4 times of hanging out with him, I tried to ghost him and everything. I tried to get rid of this motherfucker.
But much like a fungus, just kept coming back for more.
We've been together almost 2 years now, so I guess I'm okay with it now.
Apparently. But yeah, gosh. The whole thing with these characters, Isaac and Hector, I just feel sad for them, because they, they're just caught up in just these raw emotions and just letting themselves hate everything. Yeah. Now one's more methodical and one's more, one is more direct, but still, it's just, damn, that sucks.
Can't wait to see where that goes.
Well, I think there's going to be a falling out between the two of them, because right now I don't...
It's coming.
Well, I think so. And I think that the one, that Carmilla is going to be right in the middle of that. I think she's going to be one of the heads that's going to rise up and maybe...
She showed up ready to party. She was like, "Let's go. I'm going to get up there."
Well, she knew what strings to tug on to get Dracula to have a moment alone with her. She knew exactly what strings to pull on. Lisa. mentioning Lisa and getting her to.
I would have liked to have known the answer to that question, because that's what I've been thinking the whole time, too.
I think maybe because he realized, maybe Lisa talked him, maybe we'll get that answer throughout, maybe Lisa talked him into
I'm assuming that
understanding
she didn't
humanity.
want to be turned, because, then she would have a harder time helping.
Probably. But at the same time, I think Dracula knows that once you become a vampire, you change. Your mentality changes, because you are no longer, you've shook off the mortal coil for the most part. Now Lisa, where she wanted to help people who were still on the mortal coil, I think that's the primary thing. I think he realized that if he would have turned her into a vampire, that she would have lost, eventually, her will to help humanity.
Yeah.
She would have eventually seen, and I think that's one thing he loved about her, is that she wanted to see the best. I mean, it was even shown at the beginning of the series when she wanted to help the papacy when they came to not only arrest her, but burn everything of hers down, throw her in chains, and eventually burn her at the stake. She knew that if something bad happened to her, like, Vlad would not be able to control himself. And it came to pass. And now Vlad Dracula has pretty much unleashed the hordes of hell on everyone, and it's just, I think it was effectively him trying to see humanity as something more, and he did see humanity as something more whenever he traveled the world at Lisa's behest, and he saw that humanity actually could think for itself and actually do great things. But it's like in Harry Potter when Ollivander talks about the wand. It's like, oh, he went on to do great things. Terrible things, but great. Because great things, have an impact on people no matter what, whether they are good or bad.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's what Dracula sees with humanity potentially. Humanity eventually escaping where they're able to think for themselves and build for themselves, escaping from the livestock, of being livestock from vampires, and instead forging their own society forward instead of living in feudalism, which effectively we did escape from. I mean, we did escape the Dark Ages and we live in the now. We're more enlightened in spite of everything you see on the news. We are more enlightened and we are better off as a society now than we've ever been, but doesn't mean that we still can't improve things.
I just really like this show's message of how one corrupt power that is not able to listen to logic or understand other people's values can literally unleash riots and chaos across the world. It kind of sounds familiar.
Well, it's just the world we live in. Sad enough, but well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a good one. That was a good episode. This was season 2, episode 2 of Castlevania Old Homes. So in the next one, I think we're going to be at the Belmont household, and we're going to see what kind of treasures the Belmont clan held to fight against Dracula and the hordes of the knights. So we'll see that in the next one from the looks of it. And I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Quinn.
We'll see you then. Peace out.